Alaska is one of those states people rarely consider when forming an LLC. It feels far away, remote, almost off the radar. But here's what makes it interesting. Alaska has no state income tax and no statewide sales tax. That's a pretty unique combination. Now, before you get too excited, there's more to the story, including a $250 filing fee and specific compliance rules you need to understand. So, in this video, let's break it down properly. I'm going to walk you through how to start an LLC in Alaska in 2026, what it costs, how it works, and whether Alaska actually makes sense for your business, especially if you're operating remotely. Hey, I'm Bobby Casey, founder of Business Anywhere. I've helped thousands of founders, U.S. entrepreneurs, digital nomads, expats, and non-U.S. residents form LLCs remotely without dealing with state-level confusion or missed compliance deadlines. And Alaska is definitely one of the more unique states on the list. All right, first, let's zoom out. An LLC, a limited liability company, exists for one main reason: protection. It separates you from your business. If your company runs into legal trouble or debt, your personal assets are generally protected. That separation is the foundation of why most founders form an LLC in the first place. And from a tax standpoint, LLCs are flexible. By default, a single-member LLC is taxed like a sole proprietorship. A multi-member LLC is taxed like a partnership, and later, if your profits increase, you can elect S-Corp taxation, so you get protection without corporate complexity. Now let's shift to Alaska specifically. The filing fee to form an LLC in Alaska is $250. That's paid to the Alaska Division of Corporations when you file your articles of organization. It's higher than many states, so up front, it's not the cheapest option. But here's where Alaska stands out. There is no state income tax, and there is no statewide sales tax. Now, that doesn't mean zero taxes altogether. Local municipalities can impose local sales taxes, but at the state level, Alaska is unique. For founders physically living in Alaska, that can be attractive. For remote founders, it's a bit more nuanced because taxes are typically based on where you live and operate, not just where your LLC is formed. So Alaska's tax advantage matters most if you're actually based there. All right, so how do you form your Alaska LLC? It starts with your name. Your LLC name must be distinguishable from other registered businesses in Alaska, and it must include Limited Liability Company, or LLC, at the end. So instead of Northern Lights Ventures, it needs to be Northern Lights Ventures LLC. Before you settle on a name, search the Alaska Business Database to confirm availability. If you're not ready to file yet but want to secure the name, Alaska allows you to reserve it for a period of time for a small fee. Once your name is squared away, let's talk about your registered agent. Every Alaska LLC must have a registered agent with a physical street address in Alaska, no P.O. boxes. This is the individual or company responsible for receiving legal documents and official notices on behalf of your LLC. If you live in Alaska, you can act as your own registered agent, but your address becomes public record and you must be available during normal business hours. That's why many founders choose a professional registered agent service, especially if privacy is important to you. Now, moving forward to the official filing, you'll submit articles of organization to the Alaska Division of Corporations. The filing fee is $250. In that filing, you'll provide your LLC name, registered agent information, principal office address, and whether the LLC is member-managed or manager-managed. Once approved, your LLC is legally active. Now, even though Alaska doesn't require you to file it with the state, you absolutely should create an operating agreement. This document outlines ownership percentages, how decisions are made, how profits are distributed, and what happens if a member leaves. Even for a single-member LLC, an operating agreement strengthens your liability protection and makes your business look more legitimate to banks and partners. Next up, your EIN. Your employer identification number comes from the IRS, and it's completely free. Think of it as your company's tax ID. You'll need it to open a U.S. business bank account, hire employees, and file federal taxes. If you're a U.S. resident with an SSN, you can apply online and receive it quickly. If you're outside the U.S., the process takes a little longer but is still manageable. Now let's talk about ongoing compliance. Alaska requires LLCs to file a biennial report. That means you file every 2 years to update your business information with the state. There is a filing fee associated with that report, and missing it can cause your LLC to fall out of good standing. So even though Alaska Alaska doesn't have state income tax or statewide sales tax, you still have to maintain compliance. Depending on your business activity, you may also need local business licenses. Alaska does require a state business license for most businesses operating within the state. And again, local municipalities may have their own tax or licensing requirements. Finally, once your LLC is approved and you've received your EIN, open a dedicated business bank account. Do not mix personal and business funds. Mixing funds can weaken your liability protection. Most banks will request your articles of organization, EIN confirmation letter, operating agreement, and valid identification. If you're operating remotely, you'll also need a legitimate U.S. business address. So let's recap. To start an LLC in Alaska, choose a unique name and confirm availability. Appoint a registered agent with an Alaska street address. File your articles of organization and pay the $250 state fee. Create an operating agreement. Obtain your EIN, register for any required business licenses, and file your biennial report every 2 years. Alaska is unique. Higher upfront filing fee, no state income tax, no statewide sales tax, biennial reporting. It makes the most sense for founders physically based in Alaska, especially those looking to benefit from the state-level tax structure. Now, you can absolutely handle this on your own, but if you'd rather skip the paperwork and compliance tracking, we can help. At Business Anywhere, we'll form your Alaska LLC for free. You just pay the $250 state fee, and we include your first year of registered agent service at no extra cost. We'll also help with your EIN and send reminders for your biennial report so nothing falls through the cracks. So, I'm curious, are you considering Alaska because you live there, or are you exploring it for tax reasons? Drop a comment and tell me what you're building, and I'll see you in the next one.